Welcome to the Childish Grown-Up Show, where we treat each episode like your movie theater experience. We catch up with one another, play some games, talk previews, and before you know it, it's time for the feature presentation. So sit tight and enjoy this ride of nostalgia on the Childish Grown-Up Show.
All right, here we are, y'all. Your favorite time of the week, the Wednesdays. And we do Wild Out here on the Childish Grown-Up Show. You know me, Maurice Hunt III, a.k.a. Mo. I'm here with both my co-hosts, Mia G, Ash Bash. How you ladies doing today?
Feeling pretty good.
You know, I'm hanging in there. I'm tired, but I'm feeling good.
Hey, listen, tired is like we were saying before recording, it's like, that's a default. Like that's like a badge that you just absolutely. But you know, life gonna life, and us parents gonna parent. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So, but thank y'all again for tuning in. All of our Stoop kids. Speaking of Stoop kids, we got a lot of feedback here this week. More than normal. I was like, oh, it's going crazy. So y'all bear with us for a moment. Bear with me. So first, from our Liar episode, we're still in our Father Knows Best month. Liar, our man Public Enemy B says, love the new segment. Obviously, he's referring to lines that deserve to be slimed. I will have a sound effect for that soon. But hey man, what y'all think about that? I know that was something we implemented. What did y'all think about that new segment in the mix, especially on Liar?
That was fun. I'm excited that it's implemented, and I do have one for this movie as well.
Probably we might have the same one.
I have a few for this movie. I think it was necessary. We got to have the lines, especially we got a lot of quotable movies.
Yeah, I know. And like now it's like, dang, I always wish you had it during Love and Basketball. You know, wish you would have had it during probably, I know you, A Christmas Story. You know, so many, like for me, definitely probably Lion King. You know what I mean? Like, even though we definitely harped on some parts. So
Man, Cop and a Half. I told you the ones I was like, oh, this is, yeah.
In a Dirty Glass, Steve. So, but yeah, nonetheless, man, thank you, Public Enemy B, for reaching out about that. That segment is a staple at this point. So we got some subscribers. So I feel like we need to start acknowledging subscribers because, hey, it takes a lot to say, hey, I need this in my algorithm. So Asar09 is a new subscriber. Also, Hot Brains is a new subscriber. And I think that is all for our new subscribers. So shout out to y'all for subscribing to the pod, man. Thank you.
Brains is crazy.
I know. And then, so recently, y'all probably noticed if y'all follow the Instagram, the Childish Grown-Up Show, no spaces, that's the new handle. I've recently started to put out some reels because I wanted to, you know, obviously promo our show, but also just give y'all some more to pull from our actual Instagram. So there's a lot of I put it on YouTube as well. I feel like our YouTube community needed it as well as Instagram. So a lot of these are from YouTube, about 6 of them. So IH5163 says, and this is all from the video about moving the big TV with the butt on it. He said, I moved so much as a child. My father owned a business that had much heavier equipment. The TV was one of the easiest things. You're lucky that was your biggest problem to move. Well, I feel for you. Next person, Q Dad Jen says, I had a 36-inch that was downstairs for 15 years. Then I got old and had to get a friend to help me bring it upstairs. Yeah, boy, I know that was a challenge. Beeman Bobby says, try a 60-inch big back. Having a big screen TV, when they were like that, man. Dizzy Dez said she remember grandma had the one invaded in wood. Ooh.
Oh my gosh.
Yes.
That was on the ground. That was already on the ground. Like, bruh.
I remember my great grandma had, it was like one of the first like big screen TVs. It was huge and it was wooden. Once they deliver that thing and set that thing in the living room or wherever it's gonna go, you don't move it. There's no moving.
No.
It's there forever.
Ain't no indecisiveness in them days. Like you better know where you want it by the time they deliver it because it's over.
That indention in the carpet.
Oh, whoa. Right, the wheels of the yeah. Let me see. Demi saying stuff says my dad had a 70-inch TV. It looked like a small car. And the last one from my guy, doubled back Public Enemy B says, hey, them big back TVs were no joke. LOL. Losing your grip and the TV falling was a nightmare. That's a fact. Like, don't lose your grip if you like, you know, it really ain't nowhere to grab for. I mean, you got the back part of it and then that front, but it's always like a little, man, listen, that was crazy, man. But, hey, man, thank y'all, man. Y'all was so receptive. Got quite the amount of views on that one. Just put out another one, so y'all just stay tuned. You know, my co-hosts, they gonna get in the game, get in the mix, share some of their fond memories. It's really fun. Just something to keep just boosting y'all week. Something to laugh at, something to smile at, something to take y'all back like we do with this show. So if y'all want to reach out, childishgrownups3@gmail.com, the Instagram, the Childish Grown Ups Show, no spaces. Or y'all can leave a comment on our YouTube page. So thank y'all. We appreciate y'all. All of y'all are Stoop kids, and thank y'all for hopping off the stoop one time to hang with us. You dropped it? Oh, okay. I thought he dropped it. All right. All right. Now it is time for, I think, our childish grown-up moment. My nose, everything is everywhere right now. Childish grown-up moment. So, Ash, I'm gonna throw the ball in your court this week.
Unfortunately, I do not have one this week. I was trying really hard to think that I do anything even remotely close to childish, but I didn't get one in this past week. So I will do my best to have one for next week.
Okay. BG.
So I think the only thing I really had is going to the park with my son, and he had me out there blowing bubbles for like 30 minutes straight. And think about my son, ain't no breaks.
He ain't getting tired.
I don't care you lightheaded, you better blow them bubbles, lady.
Wow. Y'all empty the bottle?
Nah, I had to just all done.
Yeah. All done. We done.
Mommy, it's time to eat.
Yes.
Like, but I didn't have too much. I've been so busy, just busy. So it's been a lot of adulting going on around here.
Yeah.
Nice to have a moment to get some play in, but it's been
for sure.
an adulthood over here.
Yeah, and we did have our defense. We had a shortened record week, so that kind of makes a difference. You know, I think I thought about that because really for me, my only childish grown up moment is like actually talking about those videos, especially the most recent one. By the time y'all hearing this, it's already out, but it was the one about building like the house fort. Just going down memory lane of how important that was. Like I was saying in the video. Like when you build if you have siblings, that obviously that makes the best of it. But if you don't, cousins, you're building a house for it. And like to get permission to bring the dining room chairs to the room was a huge deal. You don't move nothing in a black household. Like, you know what I mean? You don't do that. Like that ain't a thing. So moving them, having them in the cross and make sure, okay, where the light at, where the TV is. So we turn it and we'll be under the hut and watching the TV. Like I said in the video, we wouldn't even do anything. It was just, we got that shade and it was dope. So, but y'all go watch, for those that are listening, go watch the video if you want more insight. But that's definitely just reminiscing over like making forts in the house back in the day. Like when there was, it was a slow Saturday, nothing to do. friends out of town in a neighborhood, whatever. No hooping this weekend. No cousins ain't around. This is where you got to really grind it out and find something fun to do around the house. So that is my childish grown up memory, if nothing else. All right, Ash, what time is it?
Time for the Flash with Ash. So I have some trivia for you both today.
Oh, yeah.
So to start us off, we're starting with Ed, and Eddie. Which Ed is the brainy and mature one?
I know this.
You need to spell it too. Let's make sure.
Oh, man.
I know this.
We get the right,
Mia, you want to take a stab at it before I go ahead and get the right answer here? Because that was the one I was the fan of the most too. So
I'm gonna go with EDD Ed.
Okay, that's it. It's EDD. They called him Double D.
Double D, yeah.
That's correct. Let me
man.
ask you, bro. Why was he your favorite?
I think didn't you watch the show with us, Ash?
Yeah, I watched that.
That was like we grew up in a time where you just picked somebody. So I think I don't know. Bub had like what was it? Ed. You might have had Eddie, and I had Double D. So I think just by default I picked him. But I thought his swag was a little better than the other two. Like I liked the beanie. I thought it was cool. He had a little mystery about him. Mm-hmm. I love that. I gotta watch Ed Eddie. That show is probably super ridiculous now.
I have a screenshot that I used from that show. Like,
oh yeah,
yeah.
Huh?
Yeah, see that.
Yeah, I gotta see that one. Yeah, for sure.
Okay. All right. Second one is from The Simpsons. I had to tap back in. Had to spin the block on it. Again. But y'all y'all got it right last week. So we
did. Like
the trend.
That's our image stake right there. Our image stake.
Exactly.
Right
so I had to spin a block on it. Okay. What is the name of the bully who often picks on Bart at school?
Ooh.
I got multiple choice, or do y'all think y'all?
If you give me multiple choice, I will know. I'm just
I need the multiples. Absolutely need the multiples.
Barney, Ralph, Milhouse, or Nelson?
Oh, okay. I got it.
I got it, I think.
All right. Okay. I'm going Nelson. Oh, wait. Hold on.
I think it's Ralph. No. It's Milhouse. No.
Milhouse is the glasses.
With the glasses. It's I think it's.
I'm sticking Nelson. I'm sticking with Nelson. What were the first two?
Barney and Ralph.
Barney was the one that got drunk at the bar at the Duffy drinking the Duffy or whatever, and then Ralph. I gotta go Nelson. That's the only one that feels in that realm. Ralph feel like some other character.
Because me and Mo have been getting these right together
as a team,
I'm gonna go with Nelson too.
That is correct.
Let's go.
I love the teamwork here. I love it.
Yeah, you got to, man.
Teamwork makes the dream work.
Gotta hitch a ride sometime. You know what I mean? Like, I'd be like, hey, help me out, please.
Hey, y'all coming to play. Y'all getting these right too much. I'm gonna have to, dig in that duffel a little more. But
don't dig in the duffel, man. Come on now.
I have to go in the duffel.
Don't go in the duffel.
So the last one for you all is, of course, one of my favorites. You don't do so well in this space, but this is from Girlfriends.
Oh Lord!
One.
But this is pretty easy, so y'all should get this. What was the name of Maya's cousin Ronnie's hair salon?
Maya's cousin's hair salon.
So what was the name of Ronnie's shop?
Got multiple choice? Oh.
No multiple choice.
See, can you be playing?
I feel you though, cause she like that. I gotta trip y'all up here.
Easy.
Is it like okay? Can we get a hint or anything?
It's one word.
Was it Ronnie's?
No.
Ronnie. Okay. I ain't got it. I ain't got it. You got me on this one. You got us on this one, bro.
Situations.
Never got that. There's
Bro, I
no
knew
way.
you wouldn't get it.
Nah.
But I thought me and Mike
I
did.
would have never remembered that, but as soon as you said it, it clicked. I'm like, okay, now I remember. But no, I would have never remembered that.
Slut.
All right, you got that. So
You
you
got
got
it. Two,
one.
2 out of 3 ain't bad. You know what I'm saying?
Got one.
2 out of 3. And that is all for the flash for that.
You thought you gonna stump us the whole time? Like you should have known. I'm gonna stump him with this one.
No, I thought me and Mike get this one. I knew you wouldn't get it.
I don't like it. It definitely clicked once you said it, but like I would have never, just off the top of my head, remembered that.
Yeah, situations is yeah. Okay.
Well played, ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you.
Well played.
Is that everything?
That is all.
All right. Thank you, Ash. All right, Mig G, you know what time it is? We going way back on this one. I need to pull the lever. We're going to the time machine. Take us back to the year of this movie.
All right, we are going back to 1992. Film called South Central. Disclaimer: this film has some heavy subject matter. Violence, child abuse, drug addiction, drug use. So viewer discretion is advised. Synopsis: a former gangster fresh out of prison wants to change his life for the better and must save his 10-year-old son who has already chosen a gang life. And we have Glenn Plummer as Bobby, aka OG Bobby Johnson. We have Byron Mins as Ray Ray, Lexi Bigham as Bear, Vincent Craig Dupree as Loco, Larita Shelby as Carol, Kevin Best as Jeannie Lamp, Christian Coleman as Jimmy, aka J-Rock, Starletta Dupois as Nurse Shelley, Ivory Ocean as Willie Manchester, and Carl Lumbly as Ali. This film was released 2 days after my second birthday, September 18th, 1992. And you know, ain't no merch, ain't no toys. This is getting heavy today.
Hey, you know. Okay. All right. So, neither one of y'all have seen this film.
No, I had seen it. It had just been a really long time since then.
You seen this?
I've seen it, but it was a long time for me as well.
Okay. So do y'all, before we do the rewind, do y'all remember anything about this film before I ask y'all on the rewind?
For me, this is more like a press play for me.
Okay.
I remember some of the characters. I mean, like the actors in it, but like, and that kid, I remember bits and pieces, but it would be like more so a new watch for me.
Okay. What say you, Mia?
I vaguely remembered it. Like I remembered the characters, but I didn't remember the story, like the storyline. I remembered a lot of because people used to talk about it all the time. I didn't really see it until I was grown. I think I was in my 20s, my early 20s, the first time I saw this movie. And I hadn't really watched it again since. So I wouldn't say it was a press play because I did remember like the characters, but I didn't remember like the plot.
Okay. Same. As far as definitely probably was in the 20s. I don't know. I don't even know how I came across. I don't know if I was yearning for like the hood movie vibe, trying to find some alternative to Boys in the Hood and Don't Be a Menace. I don't remember. It had to be some along those lines, but I remember seeing this and was like, oh, how did I not see this? You know, and when I first watched it, I remember it feeling really old. Like, remember it just felt really old, but I wasn't mad at it because it felt old but fresh. I don't know if that even makes sense, but it had this fresh feel where maybe the themes felt still current even at that time. Maybe like it felt like it had some relevance still, even though it looked physically old based on the year it came out and maybe how they shot it. I mean, but I just remembered that, and That's about all that I remember, other than him trying to get his son back. But I didn't remember like everything. So this time was definitely different. So, Ash, then since this is a press play for you, what was the experience like watching this movie? Because let me preface this. I'm not saying this is a good movie. let me preface that. Like that's not what I'm saying here. So I thought it's an interesting movie. So I want to be very clear. When I picked this, I didn't come out and like, oh, this is a really good movie. I thought it could be an interesting podcasting movie. So I just want to set that in the forefront. But Ash, what was the experience like watching this?
It definitely felt like 1992. So it definitely put me instantly in that time zone, and like you said, the visual of it, and like I said, Glenn Plummer is amazing. Anyways, so anytime I get to see him, I I think he's a very strong lead male. So I like to see him on screen. I think the movie has some powerful moments in it for sure. It was an interesting watch. There was a lot going on for sure. A lot of things I saw that I didn't like, but we'll get to that when we get to that.
Okay.
But it was okay.
Okay.
It was all right.
All right. I figured that. Big G, what say you?
Oh man, I cannot hold you. It was a tough one to get through. I had to watch it maybe like 3/4 of the way through and then rewatch it the next day because I was like, oh Lord, okay. There are a few things. I'm not gonna say it's not an enjoyable movie. Like Ash,
it probably is not.
I blame you because why would you have me watch that Tyler Perry movie? It was too much.
What?
Listen,
what are you talking about? Like Tyler Perry, what happened?
Ash texted me about that new Tyler Perry movie, Straw.
Why are y'all still watching Tyler Perry movies?
Look, Taraji, Tiana, Sherry. We had, I had planned on watching it. And when Ash texted me about it and said, basically, she knew the ending was going to piss me off. And she was so right. And I was like, oh my goodness. Now I got to go back and watch South Central. And I'm just Black traumaed out today.
Oh, dang.
So it was tough. It was
dang,
rough.
bro.
But
okay.
I did. There are a lot of things about this movie that I like. I like the message at the end. I love a good character arc. It's one of my favorite film devices. But I have thoughts.
For me, this movie, when Mig G reveals to us what our next movie will be, I guess. Wait a minute. I think. Do we got 5 Wednesdays this month?
Do we?
I know we have 5 Sundays. Let me see real quick. Sorry, y'all. Okay, we good. All right. So after Mig G reveals that, if y'all can please remind me, because I am forgetful. When we do our TGIF, and I think I'm gonna try to tweak where we're gonna go TGIF wise, because I think our big cousins may do something similar. I was listening to a little bit of what they were doing with Forever today, so I think I'm gonna try to tweak it with y'all help, of course. I lost my train of thought where I was going. So this experience for me, for one, I could say for me, this movie was like pretty much straight through. It the way it played with time was definitely the nostalgic way of how they did it, but I was cool with it. I actually was okay with, similar to when we did The Notebook. I don't remember. Did they give us like timestamps or like note cards? I can't remember with the Notebook.
No, I don't think.
Mm-mm.
Okay, they kind of just bounce back and forth between the senior citizen home and okay. But I know Love and Basketball. We talked about Asset. That's one that done it well. And then of course, Riding in Cars with Boys? Didn't they?
No, it was enough.
Enough. Okay. So this one, I felt like as far as the transitioning from years to whatever, it's like okay, this movie takes place in a 10-year span. Cool. Base it off of when his son's born. So for me, it was straight through. This movie is definitely not without flaws. It's not without issue. I thought that. I remember where I was getting at. There was a different movie I was going to pick. I think I probably know maybe where I was going. We'll talk about it on our TGIF as far as what movies almost got picked. But so for me, it was like I wanted to podcast from a different perspective on fatherhood. I was like kind of like a little more of a challenging position. That's kind of where I wanted to come from. See what would happen on the Childish Grown Up Show as far as seeing it from a whole different lens, and even our viewers and listeners that support us. Maybe they've never seen this movie, and it's like, okay, I'm following y'all, and now I got to watch it, and okay, this is an interesting conversation. So,
Right.
Yeah, go ahead.
I will say something really quick. So I will say this: when I watched the film, so I watched it straight through, let it marinate. I didn't, other than like the beginning, I was able to take like a quick note of a scene that I thought was really good. But after that, until like the end, I was really trying to figure out what notes I wanted to write down or like what I really wanted to talk about.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it was a struggle for me in this movie to kind of figure out what I want to talk about.
Okay.
Like I said, because it's kind of like we have the middle, right? But I think I thought this was going to have more of the father role, you know what I mean, as far as like more interaction of it.
Okay.
And so when that wasn't there, it was kind of like mostly Bobby isolated, and then we got introduced to Jimmy, and as he already got older and kind of was already in the streets. But I just thought it was going to be more of a connection between them, so we really didn't get that till like towards the end, So, so that just made it a little challenge for me on how I want to go with my notes or whatever.
Yeah, I could totally see that. Absolutely. The thing is, though, the opening scene, we get the reveal that he has a son. And like you said, like the interaction between father and son, you're right, it picks up much later in the film. I guess I'm looking at it from a father that hasn't embraced it yet, for real, because he's still definitely, which, like I say, I think, don't worry, like I got a pretty decent amount of notes here, and I'm sure maybe, well, I can't speak for Mia. I guess I'll see what Mia has to say as far as her note taking. But I got some things that maybe structuring it, like I know you'll have some things to add to as well. Mia G, anything you want to bring up before we get into like our opening discussion?
I will agree though that I thought I had remembered him and his son having more overall interaction, but I I didn't remember the plot that well, so I wasn't too like disappointed or taken aback by it. I just thought I had remembered them interacting more.
Okay. Fair enough. All right, so my first thing, just a few things in the overall discussion. So I'll say this. My question is like, how did y'all feel watching this genre of movie? And they tend to label this genre like hood films. In regards to our Father Knows Best, kind of our homage to fathers this month, as we did last month with Mother May I month. How did y'all feel having? Because this is our first hood film, and is it? Let me double check.
I mean, is Jason lyric? Would you say?
I would say so. It's it's hard because it's in the country, and people tend to not think country as hood, but there's definitely hoods in the country. Yeah, I think you're right, Ash. I think Jason Lee that would suffice. So we'll say. I mean, I almost about to say losing Isaiah, but no. But all right, yeah, fair enough. So this is like kind of our second hood film, but this was like drenched in like the hood. So, but how did y'all feel about that as far as going into like a talking father and going into like a hood film and watching this film?
Feel any type of way. I mean, I was prepared for it. I mean, I've seen plenty of hood movies. I mean, it's a part of some things that we've seen growing up or know someone who's had these experiences as well. So, I mean, a father's a father. So whether you are in the hood or you in the suburbs, I don't, where that placement is, that doesn't affect how I'm viewing it, So,
good point.
Yeah, I didn't have an issue with it. It's a part of our culture, and so I was just curious to see. Like I said, I hadn't seen it in so long, so I was really excited to kind of, get a fresh set of eyes on it and see. And again, Glenn alone had me like.
Yeah, Glenn did it. What about you, Mia?
What was that now?
How did you feel about like going into this genre with that type of, because, and I'll add a little more sauce on it, because you did something interesting when we were doing our our March Madness rotation of films, and you chose this like a thriller, and it was definitely super different from what Ash picked, like more of an inspirational film. I mean, I guess mine's a little inspirational, and you took that, and it actually was. I feel like when we get to 50 episodes, we want to talk about our favorite episodes. So I'm just put that out there.
Love that.
Yeah. So we're halfway there. We're at 25. So, but just kind of giving it that same thing. This is a hood film in that talking about fathers. How did you feel about like once you got through it, making that connection or whatever?
I didn't feel any real type of way about it because I feel like in a lot of I feel like there are other hood films with the father element. Like if you look at Boys in the Hood, Furious Styles is the father figure, and that's like a quintessential hood movie. So I always find it really interesting, like when we get into certain genre films where there's like a heavy parental element. I think the way that they did it here is unique, and I like that.
Yeah,
it made it really interesting with me picking my film.
Okay,
and I'm stoked. I had three, and I had to go with the one that I think y'all aren't gonna see coming.
Oh, I can't wait to when we get to the end. I'm going to see your process of elimination, and you got the opportunity to be last. So you got to really process everything and say where I want to go, and see how you felt about having that.
I changed it at the last minute too because
that's how I be. I promise you, that's what I did. That's exactly what I did. For me, as far as hood films, something I find interesting in movies like this is just the world building. It's not a good environment, to say the least, but yet there's this sense of belonging that I always find intriguing. The apartments, that little club they went to, the clubhouse for the deuces, the gambling house. It's always something interesting to me about hood films, these environments. I don't know. There's a deeper conversation I imagine that could be there, but only other part I want to bring it to just kind of the overall discussion, and of course, feel free to add. How good do y'all think the kids did in this movie?
I mean, not that great. I mean, they did okay for what it was. I think Jimmy was overselling it for sure, but I mean, he was definitely doing the most. But for a hood film, I mean, I don't expect too much from the kids. So,
what about you, Bia?
I gotta agree. Little J Rock was putting a lot on it. I don't play no hunky ball, sir. Please. But again, it's the early 90s. It's a hood film. We've seen over a multitude of films that we've covered, that our big cousins over at the Culture Garden have covered, and a
Absolutely.
lot of other podcasts and review channels that I watch. Kid actors is hit or miss. You gotta take what you get
Yeah.
sometimes, and we just gotta work with them, give them a little grace, because a lot of the times it's their first time, and everybody don't got the just natural drama.
They're not the Raven Simones of the world,
And
Orlando
even
Browns of the world.
sometimes put a lot on it herself,
Yeah.
but you know,
I mean, I
everybody
thought
be a mod.
it's your fault. I'll be honest, I thought the kids did really good, actually. I thought it was, a lot better than actually, okay, you take me back to sorry, I had to call back to Mrs. Doubtfire.
You gonna leave her alone with her.
All right. We love her though. That's Matilda. We love her, but no, I actually be honest, like them being in LA, like in South Central, like I believe these kids. Like J Rock, Jimmy being dramatic like that, I believed it. Like he had to grow up really fast. He was imitating probably who he's seen on the block, so he put in extras. I believed it. Like when I line up all the situation, even the other little kids that was out there, it's like, hey man, if you do them, let me know. Like they're wannabes. Like they're doing what they're imitating what they're seeing. So the acting to me, if it just felt real. It felt like these are some lost kids. And I felt like the kids, the animation, the dramaticness, I don't know. For me, it resonated. Like I genuinely thought like this is pretty good. Just because I'd imagine like these, because people in the hood, like, it's a lot of characters in the hood. So that's why for me, I felt maybe it could have been extra selling, but I don't know. I feel like that's how it really be though. Like, I didn't grow up in that life, or whatever, but I just feel like that. I don't know.
It wasn't just the kids though either. It was some of the adult actors who I was like, you know what?
They put too much on it.
It got a little ridiculous in some places.
Oh yeah, there's definitely some of that.
But we gonna talk about it.
All right. So Ash, with the notes that you have, where you want to start off? Where you want to start? Wherever you want to go.
Start at the beginning, actually, when Bobby's first day out with him and Carol, was that her name? His lady?
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know if it was Carol or Curl, the way they were saying her name.
It's that Cali accent.
Yeah. I'll start there. Just that moment of transparency that Carol and him had when he asked why you didn't visit me, you didn't write any letters. And she openly just said that she was mad at him for going in there. That's a story that always happens. Like, they're so mad that y'all got locked up, and it just becomes resentment and things like that. So I just love that little moment. And she was just like, she was by herself. She had to get on all the programs and things like that. And she was like, I had the baby by myself. Right. And then she got, emotional. And I just like, that was so real, because a lot of women do have to go through that, by themselves.
Yeah.
And I'm, even just on the giving birth part of it, thank God I wasn't by myself. I had a village. I had like 4 people in the room when I had Anthony. So like, but I couldn't imagine being in there by myself, especially this is my first. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, so just, I kind of felt for her in that moment, like, wow, like, and then he kind of took that moment and she gave him the baby. And then later on that night, go in there and, he told her she did a good job. And I was like, okay, yeah. Cause you know what I had to do to make shit shake out here,
Yeah.
And so for him to just come back in there and just give her that moment, I thought that was a really good scene. So, yeah.
Yeah, you want to say some things about that opening scene as well, Mia?
It's I just feel like Carol, the character of Carol, man, oh man. I had a hard time with that character
Wow, really?
because it's one thing, like I get it. You were alone, you had to figure some things out, but he didn't even know the baby's name. And then he comes home and you're acting all happy to see him. You ain't wrote not a single letter. Like it just felt her character felt I don't know if I want to say it was poorly written
Mm.
or disingenuous, but there was just something that didn't connect, I don't think, with Carol's character. It like I guess what we were supposed to feel or think about her character. I'm not sure. When I saw her and she's like Bobby, and she's acting so happy to see him, and yes, he was in prison, and she had every right to feel how she felt about it, but I see Carol's character as a girl who was maybe stuck in her trauma. She was very immature. She may not have had anybody to teach her much about how to be a woman or a mother. And maybe that's why she was the way she was. But what I did appreciate about the scene is it gives you an idea of more so who Bobby is as a character. You get to see instantly that even though he is in this gang life, his father is in prison
Hmm.
and he's a product of his environment, very much so. But you can tell that it's not in him the way that it might be in some of his counterparts.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
He takes the fatherhood instantly. From the time he gets out, you see him with that baby. He's the one who has his baby. The baby instantly takes to him. He instantly takes to his role as a father, but he also really wants to protect Carol. And he's put in a hard position in many ways because of Carol and her lack of discernment in her own life.
Yeah.
His character and the way he reacted to her character so gently and understandingly because he's better than me.
Actually, I really like Carol. Actually, you know, challenging character. I get it. I can see maybe some writing issues. This is definitely men centric. So I can see where I don't know who's writing. If it was a male writer, maybe probably Wikipedia or whatever. But uh, I could see where there could be some things that just quite didn't make sense with her character. But as Ash was saying, like I did find heart in her, and I felt like when everybody's in the hood, it's a difficult situation. And I feel like, anybody's situation, wherever you're from, trailer park, wherever when you're from a difficult background, everybody's kind of messed up, but you're trying to find your way. And I feel like she was saying things, she was messed up trying to find her way, but I feel like there was still something there that wanted more. And I think she was on the brink of that, obviously, until, OG went back to, prison. And then that was, kind of changed everything. But I got that. I talked about that too. As far as the thing that I wanted to bring out a little earlier is just the foreshadowing in that scene when he gets right out and he gets in the whip. Ray said he's organizing the Deuce gangs while Bobby was locked up. That's a foreshadowing for the later, when Bobby gets locked up again. And then Loco had started smoking that PCP, and which that was a foreshadowing of who he become or what he would become or whatever. So that's what I had with that. What do you want to get into, Mia?
So I want to talk about Bobby and going back to prison. Like him and Jeannie Lamp and that whole dynamic that kind of got him back thrown in the slammer.
Oh man. Oh. Yeah.
Man, again, Carol. Child. Soon as he was just nice to me, blah blah blah. Girl,
Did this feel anything like Dead Presidents?
that was actually the first thing I thought of. That was the first thing I thought of when I saw his
I
character come down.
swear.
Saw her. That was the first thought in my mind. Was like, "Ooh,
Shout out to Clifton Powell.
here we go."
Yeah.
It's a we all know how that story
Yeah.
goes. You know, only
Yeah.
difference he was in jail, and Lorenz Tate's character, whose name is slipping my mind from Dead Presidents, he was
Lucky? Was it?
That was
no,
Chris. What was his name?
Y'all keep talking. I'll find it.
he was off at war, but the OG triple, the hustler always comes in to take care of your woman and baby while you're away. And it's always going to be a problem when they get back home. And
What's his name?
I,
Anthony?
Mm-hmm.
Anthony, yeah, it was Anthony.
All right, yeah.
But his character, immediately, we see he's going to be a problem from the time he comes down the stairs, the way they react to him, the way he reacts to them.
Mm-hmm.
And knowing, like, the way Carol introduced them. Oh, hey, this is Bobby. I told you about Bobby. What's going on here? What's really going on here? Carol was out of line on so
What's going on here?
what's going on?
Hey, let's skip past the introduction. What's going
on here? Because you got on your little purple two-piece, period, your little Fashion Nova fit, and you up there talking to Jeannie.
Oh my gosh.
Black man.
What y'all talking about? What are we doing? I have so many issues with her character, but I'm not gonna harp on it.
Okay.
But of course,
yeah.
soon as he's introduced, Bobby's like, is he giving you Sherm? Like, is he got you on PCP? Which we see, yeah, he does.
She on rock now. No, I'm just playing.
And there's a conflict already between the gang that's up and coming, the Deuce gang. Please don't don't start.
You stuck. You in it now. We in it now.
And his operation that he got going on, and it's just a power struggle from the beginning. We've put Bobby at a disadvantage. You know, he's got the baby, he's vulnerable, he's out here, and you've got him kind of in a bad spot. Jeannie forces him to, now, you know, I'm no expert on drugs and the like. When he had him snorting that substance in that apartment, which is crazy to have this man's baby up there and force him to snort.
I got a question about that.
Was that cocaine or was that heroin?
I have no idea.
It couldn't have been coke, because coke is an upper.
Okay, so he said it was smack, which I'm pretty sure is heroin, right?
Well, I'm about to find out.
Don't give me the line, because I don't know.
No, yeah.
But I have to assume that he's talking about heroin because it put him kind of down for the count.
Zoned out.
And then it's like, okay, well, now you have to die.
Well, that's why I was getting heroin. Yep, heroin. Yep. And that's why I was gonna get at, like, did the crime fit the bill?
Absolutely.
If we're going off the street code, yes.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Okay, let's get into a little bit more of that because Jeannie Lamp, um, yeah, like we don't condone violence on this podcast at all. Just getting that out there. However, if you force a man to snort drugs while his kid is with him,
Mm-hmm.
I don't care. I'm on. Man have to go. For real. For real. Brother gotta go. Like he's gotta go. Like yeah, that was crazy. This is after they came to the club, the Deuces. They wanted to get Jeannie Lamp out of there. Actually, even before that, like that was definitely something transpired. Ray was definitely, pushing that. I'm like, hey, look, we gotta get him up out of here. He from Kansas City. He on our blocks, and they wanted to get him out of there. It's a classic story or whatever, but yeah, he had to go. Ash, you think he had to go as well?
Oh yeah, he definitely had to go. Once I saw he had the baby with him, like, first of all, in Genie or Smack Man, bro, you had one bodyguard. Like, come on, bro.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you slipping already on the one bodyguard. But even Smack Man was right about Ray too, though, because he was like, you don't give a damn about these streets. It was just like, because in the beginning, how I was introduced to Ray, I thought that, oh, he's a good guy. Like, he's trying to change the streets.
Talking about the Deuce meeting, like prior to that scene.
Yes. Like, I'm thinking he's trying to get the drugs out of the hood, but that clearly wasn't the case.
Well, at the end of it, they said, how we gonna fund the gangs, and then put that.
Oh yeah, I heard that. I was like, you buy for me, like, come on, man.
Hey, listen.
Oh,
man.
So you're not who I thought you were.
Ray is is a really interesting character to me, and I'll speak to something that bothers me about the Ray character later. Yeah. So
potato on the barrel is crazy though.
Yeah, the potato on the barrel. He gets the heart tattoo on the face, which I found really interesting. Just because it's like we see rappers with teardrop tattoos, and it's like you see it here. Like, no, this is a real thing. You're OG now. You know what I mean? And obviously Bobby was before Ray. We'll see later in the movie Ray got his teardrop, so to speak, or black heart. But going back to what Mia was saying, like after that, Bobby wants to get out of the hood. He's like, I gotta go. We gotta get up out of here. She knew right away, like, what's going on, and she wasn't feeling the living arrangement at all. Like, I don't know if she was a Sherm head at that point or not, but she wasn't feeling a living arrangement. I don't know how far out the hood they were, or where the heck that part I wish could have been a little clearer, but his guys have found him. Loco and the other guy, whoever this other guy is, they just popped up. They found him at Bobby's safe house. And man, they pull up. They thought they was talking to hookers. Some undercover cop. Man, undercover cop is a hooker. Gets them caught up when Loco won't shut his mouth, bruh. And what in the world? Oh my God, like, bro, when I seen this scene, I was getting hot for real, because it's like the craziest part of this is not even that Ray was just spilling the beans. The craziest part that he was on top. Where in the world, when you're in a drop top, is the woman sitting in the seat and the man is on top while the vehicle is moving? I say you are on that stuff, because I ain't never. You remember White Man Can't Jump? You remember she? Of course, she was on top. Like every movie you see, the woman always get on top of the man, whatever. I said, what in the world are you on? It looked weird visually. Y'all go back and see it for those that listen. It was you were out of pocket, bro. You were way out of pocket, Loco.
He wanted to be on top. I mean, what?
Bro, what are you gonna do from there?
I mean, there's a few things. No, I'm sweating.
That man was on that stuff, boy.
Yeah.
he was out of it, like. I'll speak more to Loco, but I mean, I guess we're kind of in the prison part of it. Y'all want to get into that a little bit? Or is there anything before that?
Yeah, let's just talk about right before when he's talking to the detective about Jeannie. And he's like, never.
Yeah. Okay.
And they bring in the baby, and we see that he's not going to see his son for a while. And you can see the pain in his face.
Yeah, that was rough.
And the baby even started like, I don't know. They always have little twins playing the babies in the movies. And they had twins playing baby Jimmy as well.
Okay.
They did. I didn't write their names down. I probably should have, but it was
all right.
playing the baby. And I just feel like every moment was there were so many good moments with baby Jimmy. From the first moment that him and Bobby had together, when he smiles at him, when he's like, I'm your daddy, and the baby's smiling. And then even when they're, show him right before he goes to prison, he looks upset, he starts sucking his thumb, he starts falling asleep, and it's like there was just such a bond. Like there was a bond that you could see, even though they weren't together a lot in the movie, but between how Bobby felt about his son and like that real paternal instinct that he had, it really comes across in this scene and any other scene after he meets baby Jimmy that his driving force is always his son from that point forward. And that is going to be the thing that drives his character through the rest of the movie. Yeah. And I just thought that was a really poignant scene, even though it was small. But then bringing in the baby right before he goes off to prison is kind of like a moment where it's like, oh, shoot. Mm-hmm. I just got out. I just got my baby. And now I have to leave again. And ain't no telling when I'm going to see him.
That's a moment I feel like in the movie it's bigger than Nino Brown. You know what I mean? Where it's like I'm actually speaking to black men that are currently committing crime and are even incarcerated. Like I feel like it was like bigger than Nino Brown in that moment. You know what I mean? Where it's like I need y'all to see what Bobby is seeing in this moment, like how big of a deal it was. And they tie it back later when we get to the Ali character. But like, yeah, that's a great point. And I was like, oh God, when I seen the little baby, I was like, dang, it's so real in that moment. Like it's so real in that moment. But Ash, did you have something as far as when we finally pick up in the prison scene and then we end up seeing Ray with the kids and everything? Do you got anything in regards to that?
No, not really. I mean, I had Ray's influence, so that was a part of that also. Just how he took the leadership role early on, kind of set the tone. I mean, he was saying he was doing it with Bobby. It was like a joint thing, but you could tell like he was just a little bit, higher on the ladder there. And, like I said, his meeting with the Deuces, and then his interaction with the kids, and he telling J-Rock, hey man, I can get you some money in your pocket, and then you can have people working for you. You giving them drugs, smoke, and him stealing the radios out the car. It's like, I mean, talk about an influence. He had a major influence early on, and unfortunately, he got to J-Rock too. So, what else part did you say?
Well, just that part. I know we're going to get into like just the reveal that OG gets Bobby or whatever. But I wanted to speak a little bit to that too. Like, his fact is like, so when we see Ray at this point, everybody's age, this is why I was talking about with a movie transitioned well, because now we're figuring out it's been a 10-year gap. So when he actually got out, it was 81, 82, which makes sense. So when we see Ray, we see the eye tattoo. I said, oh, he's OG now. So I don't know who he whacked, but he whacked somebody. And he recruits obviously little Jimmy and his friends to steal radios. And the thing about a person like him is when you're little Jimmy's age, it's easy to fall into the mentee space. Like it's so easy. Like he's presenting everything so flawlessly. The whip, the style, some pocket change and a joint, especially when your mom's sleeping around and your dad's incarcerated. Like he looks dope to him as a 10-year-old, you know what I mean? And you don't see anything wrong really because the way he's carrying it, he looks regular. And I don't see he ain't making it a big deal. He sounds cool. That stuff really happens, you know what I mean? So I did like how, they show Ray Ray in that sense. And I mean obviously Ray Ray had like had a different plan on entrepreneurship here. But yeah. Anything you want to add to that, or you want to go into the prison scene, Mia?
I just want to say once again, I find it crazy 10 years that you supposed to be his homeboy, like you never brought his son to visit him in prison, knowing that Carol wasn't going to do it. She's a shermhead now. You got this little boy, you're supposed to be taking care of him in a sense because he's supposed to be your best friend's kid. And not only do you you haven't been looking out this whole time because when he sees Jimmy when he's 10, it's like he's kind of introducing himself to him in a sense. And then taking him under his wing in all the wrong ways as we see. But no, like you haven't taken him to see his father, who was supposed to be your OG. Like that's one thing I guess that we can cover in a later segment that I just don't understand. From what I've known, and again, I'm no expert. I didn't grow up in the streets. I've been around people who have, and I've seen the dynamics, and you would think people take care of their people a little bit better. There's a little bit better communication and just a general sense of looking out when somebody who is close to you goes to prison, especially in activities that are related to your affiliation and that you've done together. That's something that should be kind of a no-brainer to me, that you would be looking out for his kid and his woman and making sure that he stays in contact with his child. And so that just it was crazy to me to see the transformation between how Ray was towards Bobby when he was out, and then to jump 10 years later and it seems like he's the OG, but he's not really giving any type of thought to what Bobby would want for his son or what he's going through on the inside or the connection that he might have with his child. It was just weird to me. And that's,
I think Ray, you got to think, even when Bobby Johnson had his son in the early scenes, fresh out of prison at the early part of the movie, he was like, I know you got your son and all, but like, hey, look, man, I need you to build this. Like he wasn't really thinking nothing about his son for real. Like, bro, I don't care nothing about none of that. Like these are hood dudes. Like, I care nothing about that, bro. And I think also Ray really, he was cool. Bobby Johnson probably grew up together because both of their dads were the first two Deuces, which is obviously their namesake. But I just think Ray always had a different kind of plan. Like I think Ray was just really honestly keeping Bobby around for aesthetic. I don't think he really never cared for him like that for real. I think it was an aesthetic thing. Well, our pops is this. In order for us to build this, it looks better. When he used him in a part of his speech when they had the Deuce meeting in the little clubhouse. Like he uses him to say our pops was the first two just to kind of do. But I don't think he really cared. But obviously, and we find out later, like, bro, you clearly don't care because you recruited his son. Like, bro, I don't care nothing about none of that. What you talking about? It's the Ray show. That's so for me. I think it's optics and keep it a bean. Hot take. I think that he probably even smashed Carol for real. I do. I think so. I don't think Jimmy was his son, but I definitely think that he's probably smashed Carol.
Now, Baby Jimmy looked like he could have been Ray Ray's son.
That's that.
Um,
He does.
older Jimmy, we can see a little bit more resemblance with old Bobby Johnson,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
that baby, I was like, who baby? Who
Like,
baby?
wait, y'all both dark skinned? What's going on?
Who baby
Like,
is this?
for real.
Whose recessive gene baby is this? But you you could be right about the whole Ray Bobby situation.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
Yeah, because
Yeah,
They
because
make it seem like they're best friends, but
yeah.
then you could look at it that way and be like, Ray really wasn't
Mm-hmm.
down like that.
What was you gonna say, Ash?
yeah, I agree. I mean, like I said, I think it looked good to have like, oh, these are the top two, but it really wasn't a collaborative thing. Like we didn't get any insight from Bobby and his thoughts on what he wanted for the Deuces or anything. It was just kind of Ray telling you what's happening and this is what we're doing. Like you said, good call out on that too, bro. As far as, dude, I'm carrying my baby out the club that he shouldn't have been in, first of all.
Yeah.
And you're talking about, hey man, I know you got a kid now, but I'm gonna need your help on this thing. Like, what?
Like,
See this infant in my hand? Definitely only focusing on the streets. I mean, he was very manipulative, obviously use of power to control and. But he was a terrible person.
Yeah, he was. For sure.
But yeah, like good call out on that. That was something that I didn't write down, but I thought about like, dude, I got my baby in my hand, and you talking about you're telling me to get the baby to sleep, like get the baby in the house, but then you still want me to be involved with what you got going on, like no.
Right. But we get to kind of get to the prison scene. I know there's a lot of stuff going on. OG Bobby Johnson, he's working out. Then we see Loco. I missed something. What you want to share something?
I mean, the workout regimen was great. Definitely in shape. That's all I'm saying.
I mean, he did that. He definitely was like he was prepared for the film.
Mm-hmm.
Prepared. Yeah. He said, anything you want to add to that, Mia?
No.
No. Yeah. So, bruh, this is a scene that shouldn't have been funny as it was. So, he makes the OG call. I'm making the OG call, like to get, Loco back because he's part of the Deuce. Bobby Johnson's still rocking out Deuce. He got some Deuce members. Because even in the Deuce meeting, the Deuce meeting earlier in the thing, I say, if we go to jail, shoot, we got people, like, they wasn't tripping about nothing. Like, it wasn't and so he calls him, he brings him back. And so now Loco is hanging around. He's the whole reason you in here, which is crazy. But he's hanging around, and he just kept ranting on about Ray, how things have changed over the years. He don't care nobody but himself. He got them 10-year-olds out there. They're still in car radios, and like this is so hilarious to me because it's like obviously he's coming off the drugs, obviously the PCP or whatever. But the fact that like he just waited so long to get there, it was so funny to me. He got them out there and he only paid them $20, maybe. Yeah, he got Jimmy out there still in cars. Like, bro, it was just the way it was. I'm sorry, y'all, I was rolling laughing because the way he looked, he was not even looking at him for real. And then he's like, Loco, he got Jimmy out there. He ain't nothing but 10 years old. Like, bro, he was hot, dude. Oh, he was hot. I know Ray didn't visit him. We can kind of bundle it all together because I'm sure we want to get into, obviously a little bit of the Aryans, but more like Ali and Bobby's relationship. Ash, is there anything you want to speak to with Ali, the character of Ali, and Bobby and everything?
Yeah, I think Ali was amazing. I mean, obviously he did some wrongs, and he has life in there, so you can see he changed his life around, even though he's not able to get out. And I think he saw something in Bobby where he's redeemable. You know, it's not over for you. You still have a fighting chance. So I think his influence, like him becoming like a mentor for Bobby, I thought that was a great dynamic because that was the shift that he needed for when he did get out to be able to get back to Jimmy and, you know, start over essentially.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Ali was dope. He was disciplined and he had a strong moral compass and had like the spiritual code about him. So, yeah, I mean, there's that scene where, I mean, he saved him from the Aryans pretty much, and he was like, to repay him, he wanted him to read the book. So he was just opening his mind to stuff that he has never experienced. Because again, like you said, we're introduced to Bobby straight out of prison, right? And then not long after, he's going back into prison. So like, this is all he knows. Like, he's not even really experiencing anything, and you have a kid. So it's like, you're not experiencing anything outside of like poverty and, you know, penitentiary at this point. And now fatherhood. So I love their dynamic in there, and I don't remember what he said. Maybe one of y'all have that when we get to the slimed. You know what I'm saying? What Ali told him, you know, when he did have to go in there and what was it? He trying to get an appeal.
Yeah, trying to get his appeal. Yeah.
So I think that was a great moment too. And I just love how Bobby wasn't no punk. You know what I mean? Like, I don't care who it is in here, Aryans or whoever's lead. Like, bro, I don't care about none of that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? He was coming at the biggest dude in there. Like, bro, I had you trickling. I had the blood trickling down. I don't care how big you are. You know what I mean? Just the harder you fall. So, but yeah, that's all I have, I think. Yeah.
Meg G, what do you have as far as the imprisonment of Bobby Johnson and the Ali character with Bobby?
So as far as the imprisonment goes, I don't have too much because we see what it is. He's back in there. Oh man, the whole Loco thing when he comes to tell Bobby about Ray Ray and how he has Jimmy out there selling car parts for him. Oh, I don't know. I have a whole issue with the whole Loco character in general. It just rubs me the wrong way. And I don't know, because before I don't know if he had been on the Sherm the whole time.
The opening of the movie, he was smoking.
Okay, because his whole character was just a little bit ridiculous to me. Even like the overselling of the mental issue. I'm not sure exactly what they were trying to say his issue was, because if his nickname was Loco, he probably had some sort of issues before the drugs came into play. But we see how he progressed and how he was in the prison. And it's weird because they have his mannerisms be one way, but then his cognitive abilities, you can see he knows what he's talking about. He knows what he wants to say.
Right.
He can think. But for some reason, just his movements and his
that's like real drug addicts though. Like, you know, real addicts who still like that, depending on what they're on, like they'll still very much know what's going on. Like, you think they dozed off and they still like, hey, don't touch that.
I mean, like, it was like his mind wasn't gone, but he just was kind of messed up. I don't know. But I love Ali's character, even though he had a little scene of overselling as well, which when we go back, you know, to see why he even had to save Bobby, come to Bobby's rescue in the first place. Because, you know, we go back to Lil J Rod getting shot because of the whole situation with Ray Ray and the Deuces. But that scene when he is saving Bobby from, what was his name? Buddha,
Yeah.
like Aryan
The Aryans, yeah.
leader. Like, can't you see this is a man? He's a man. And I'm like, Lord have mercy.
The only reason I thought that it only reason, I mean, this is my assumption. I don't know. Like, this is not my favorite movie. It's not a movie I'll go back and watch like that. Only thing I was thinking is because if you notice, they were rubbing his hair. Like, it's almost like they were trying to get into like some sexual thing where it's like, oh, you owe me. And I think and my understanding is, I think they had an understanding of some people in here don't identify as a man. There's like these, I forgot what, there's terms for like men that kind of convert over, like, so to speak, where they're okay with being on the other side of that. And I think that he was saying over and over, because you kind of got like you were kind of locked into, there's a code, we don't do that, you can't, he's a man, right? He's a man. Like, he's like, right, okay. Because he's like kind of, I feel like he got off track a little bit. So that's my assumption. I don't know, maybe I could be completely wrong because this movie didn't give tons of context, but that's the way I was seeing. Like, he kind of drawing them back, like, hey, we got a code between the blacks and Aryans or whatever. Like,
the way I read it was kind of like, because they said the Deuces paid their debt with him, like they basically sold him to them because he, wanted out or whatever, and they were just dehumanizing him. Like, basically, you're a slave now, and you're you're our property. They sold you to us, and he's like, no, we're not trying to break any prison laws, but you can't break none either. So I'm not going to come in between you and your agreement, but that it's going to be services rendered. You can't treat him inhumane. He's still a man.
Yeah. Okay.
But
okay,
I can see that too. I can see that too. Yeah. Okay.
Because I was like, what was going on, right? And you said this so many times, like Mia said, I'm like, all right.
Can you agree this is a man?
That's why I thought that, because I'm like, bro, like, hey, let me reel it back, because y'all was definitely about to get on some real. Never mind.
It was just,
but they all be men in there and still get flipped.
But that's what I'm saying. But I think it's like, but the way I thought like their code, like the way they probably had, because even earlier with the Aryans and the Deuces, is like the Aryans don't want no problems with the Deuce. We got a problem with him. You know what I mean? Like, that's what made me think there's a code there where it's like, hey, whatever y'all owe 15 boxes of cigarettes or whatever, it's like, okay, that's cool, but you can't cross that line on that. But it could be, like I said, with me, it said like the inhumane, or it could be on some like, hey, listen, you don't get to do that. They could pay you off otherwise, but you can't do that part of it, because like, I feel like if there's another person in prison that don't identify as a man, they're like a flip or whatever you want, whatever the term is for it, then it's like, okay, they could pay you off that way. But you can't try to get that off with him. And you know, that was my assumption based on it, but they didn't give us other characters in there that like obviously was getting a Joanna man on. So I mean,
Biscuit.
oh yeah, or Biscuit, yeah. So yeah, it's funny. Anything y'all want to say about, before we kind of get to like the closing part, because again, it's not a ultra deep movie here. Anything y'all want to say about Jimmy, you know, as far as getting shot, the whole hospital situation, him and the nurse? Ash, anything you want to speak to in regards to Jimmy?
Yeah, when he was shot, I thought he was dead.
Mm-hmm.
Like that shotgun, I was like, oh, he's.
Yeah, he hit all 8 bullets that flew out that dang on however many. He
was just one. Was well.
You know, shotguns spray out like multiples. Like they don't spray out one bullet. Like shotguns are like, like,
that's
you know what I mean?
Thing.
Yeah.
I was confused because I was like, was he shooting with buckshot or was it like shotgun shells? Because a shotgun shell will blow a hole through you. But it looked like he was shooting with buckshot because you see all those spots in his, like those tiny holes in his back. And so it looked like he was shooting him with buckshot and not like shells.
Oh, because when it landed, I was like, oh, he's gone.
Got his duck hunt on.
Yeah, I was like, and again, I mean, I forget the dude's name, but it's like, he's like, I didn't know it was a boy, and I was just trying to protect my family. Like, dude, yeah, you can't just come over here stealing people's stuff.
Yeah.
And
Like,
it's true. However,
no.
I I was talking about this earlier with somebody after I had just I don't know because yes, he was stealing, but you shot him in the back. So you weren't protecting yourself or your property or your I mean you were protecting your property because you wanted to get your stuff back, but you weren't really protecting your family. He was running away. You shot him in the back to stop him from stealing your car radio. Now, I am all for responsible gun ownership and use. I think there's a fine line between self-defense and just, being a little bit overzealous with the shot.
He was about to watch them get it in though. Like, you violating, like, bro, you watching me.
But they didn't know that. They didn't see him looking in the window. He was
but he's on his property though. Like,
that's true. Yes, he was
So,
on his property. But I don't me personally, my own personal thoughts on protection of property. If someone tries to come in your home, pull the trigger. Someone running off of your property, whether or not they have something that belongs to you or not, I don't believe that shooting. Now, if you're a marksman and you know how to aim and shoot somebody in the leg, shoot them in the ass, whatever, go for it. If you need a wide target and you can only shoot somebody in the back where you are likely to take their life, I think that you need to let them run away. You call the police and you file a report. But that's just me. And so when we see him get shot and then everybody's like, he's just a baby. And it's like, yeah, he was. And he makes I was protecting my home. Yeah, but you shot him in the back. I'm never okay with anybody shooting anybody in the back. Like, that's just me. If someone is running away, we have a different thing. If someone's coming towards you, that's self-defense, that's protection.
He had PTSD as well though. Because
he was a veteran.
Yeah, he served in the country too. So it's like, bruh. He definitely shot him like he was a deer though. Like, he definitely like locked in, and he definitely called the booty,
Again, I agree. Like, yeah, he was running away, so at that point, you didn't need to shoot him. I agree. Before this film and them being in the hood, like, I'm not thinking about that. People killing each other just because in the hood, you know what I mean? Now, he's a grown man, and whether he knew it was a kid or not, it's like, you know what I'm saying? The hood, excuse me. I mean, you're committing crimes. Yeah, you're a kid, but you know what you're doing. You know what you're doing. Like, you're breaking into this car and stealing the radio. And radios in the hood. Like, again, specifically for this movie in the hood, like, people are killing people over less. Whether you beat me up yesterday, and I see you walking to the corner store.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's just they don't. The rules are different out there.
Yeah.
He probably didn't know he was a kid anyway. But on top of that, I think one of my favorite scenes, another scene that made me once again feel like Carol gets a side eye from me, was seeing Jimmy in the hospital, and Nurse Shelley and how she took to him and took care of him. That was really touching to me. It kind of moved me. It moved me almost to tears in that first scene with the Nurse Shelley speaking over Jimmy, because it was the first time you kind of see him being loved and parented as a child. And you gotta remember, like, this is a baby. He's 10. My daughter's 8.
Huge deal.
The baby.
My daughter's 10. Yeah. Huge deal. Yeah, that was huge. Ironically enough, his name's Jimmy, Jimmy Johnson, and who else got shot in the back? Jimmy Brooks, my man Drake. Oh man, had to find a way to bring it in.
Well, my boy made it through, man.
He made it through though. Jimmy still, made it through, man. All right, sorry. Oh man, what are you gonna do?
You hear me?
I didn't even write that in the notes. I just made the whole connection. But yeah, the nurse tries to get Jimmy to play ping pong, but he doesn't. He doesn't at first because but then she slightly embarrasses him, and that resonates different for a kid like him from where he's from. You know what I mean? And I like that this scene was just so pivotal, like Mia was saying, because he never truly got to be a kid. So it did not register him that you can just have fun and not have to do anything else. And you're a kid. Like it's like it didn't fathom. So I just love this. And even like when he eventually gets checked out, that is at the scene towards the end where he hugged her and everything, and like the tears of like both of them, like when he had to leave that behind, because they do eventually take him to like wherever, I don't know, boarding home or whatever, a group home. And this is where I thought the acting was pretty good from the kid, because he gets in there and he's still on the kid wave until they start like walking up like, hey, we about to jack you, and he immediately go right back, Joker, Deuce, whatever. Like he goes, because now I'm back to my reality. This is their reality, but once he got out the hospital, this is my reality. I'm from the hood, and people test you, and this is all I know. And he went right back to that. So I guess kind of concluding it, Bobby eventually gets out. And his whole after Ali, I didn't get to speak to Ali, but I really like Ali as well. Ali was a great character. I thought the actor was really good. I think the way they casted him, those eyes are like, I said, man, that's good. Like there's a seriousness to the eyes. I'm like, that is a great cast. Like sometimes people have distinctive traits that fit perfectly. There's certain like Robin Gibbons. It's like it's just the eyebrows, the smirk, or it's certain people for certain things. We talk about Sanaa Lathan, like kind of the confusion that she can carry, like certain people's faces. So that was a good casting for Ali. But eventually OG Bobby Johnson gets out. He searched for his kid. He's doing everything. He goes back to Carol. Carol's a Sherm head now. He tries to give her some coffee to sober her up, but it was what it was at that point. I said, bro, that house that was over there, I said, boy, this is the real hood. Like that kitchen was so small. I said, oh man, they shout out to the set design, because I was like, man, when them cops came in there looking, they were done that fast. That's how small that crib was. I was like, oh man, like but eventually he does figure out, because he now has to use his Deuce card to figure out where his son is, and he finds out his son is with Ray Ray. Ray Ray has his son, and he also has the old man that shot him. And then we get pretty much the finale of this film, this whole interaction between two quotation mark friends that now become enemies. Ash, anything you want to leave as far as that last scene?
Yeah, I just like the part where Bobby first goes to look for Jimmy at that. Was that at the detention center or wherever?
Yeah, the detention
boarding
center.
place.
Mm-hmm.
And he was talking to the guy, trying to his son. And then he ends up telling him that he just got out of prison. And then so dude's like, pretty much listing all the red tape that they would even have to go through for him to even get in here or get on the visitation list. And so, it was just a man-to-man moment, and that was him showing like dignity and restraint, showing what he had learned from Ali, like, and he didn't come off threatening, and he didn't like scare the guy, pretty much, because we all know there's a thing like, oh, you feel threatened or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's what turned it around with just him in that moment. He was like, well, you don't make the final decision or whatever. And so then he ends up letting him see Jimmy. So I just love that moment. He implemented what he learned and had restraint. So that was a lot of growth.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah. And it ties back to like obviously the paying the dues to the Aryans, Buddha
Yeah.
cleaning the shoes. That was his first little, all that was just great. Mia, you want to get into the last scene? Anything that really stood out that drew your attention in the, kind of the conclusion of the film?
I just think about how much of a beautiful progression Bobby had as a character. And you see how he wasn't getting knocked off his square. He was going to stand 10 toes about his son no matter what. He was very firm, very calm. He had one moment where he pulled that gun where it looked like he might have been ready to pop Ray Ray, but but he put it down. It was just he was so set on protecting and saving his son's life, not just physically saving his life, but saving his mindset, saving his path, saving him from making the choice to take somebody's life because you can't take that back, you know? And he knew because he had done it, he'd been there before.
Yeah.
And you see the difference between Bobby as a man and Ray Ray as a man. And Ray Ray doesn't have any principles. He doesn't really care about Jimmy or anybody else. It's all just a game to him in a way. He sees it, the people are pieces on a board for him to move around.
Right.
And expendable. But Bobby sees the humanity in Willie, who shot Jimmy, and in Jimmy, and even in Ray Ray. And that's how he appeals to him by saying, hey, I'm trying to give my son what we didn't have.
Fire.
Not just what I didn't have, what we didn't have, a father.
Because both their
And I
dads
think
was in prison. Yeah.
exactly where this whole thing sent me. And that kind of appealed to Ray Ray in a way that I think only Bobby probably could have gotten through to him. And I just thought that last moment with that hug was just, it was beautiful.
Yeah, it was amazing. Super movie magic, but felt realistic because he was, and just like how he got there, and even trying to, obviously, I know either we all have this quote or at least one of us have the quote that he said to his son to get him to drop the gun, but just that whole thing, and even in initial when he first walked in, just that call back quickly. He said you owe me, because he said like all this built because of you doing your time, like because clearly he wasn't the only one that was there when they killed Genie Lamp. He actually did it, but he wasn't the only one. But he took the whole bid, and he came out. He had got that removed off his face, and so just all these little symbolism. But that was just a beautiful scene, and even like getting his son, and he still didn't have all the answers. Like that's why I liked about it, him being like this hood ex gangbanger. Like he's like, bro, I still don't. It might take me some time, but I'm gonna get you. Like I gotta go through the legitimate legal system to get you, but I'm gonna get you. And his son seemed like he was straight with that because he's like, okay, he really does care. And then even then, just that little nod where the guy was there, he was like, man, please don't leave me here, man, please. And he's like, all right, man, come on. And so Ray let him go as well, because the dude was like, bro, like giving him that, like, please, dude, like, which OG Bobby could have like been like, nah, bro, you did shoot my son, you had this coming, but even then he had grew to that point where he gave him grace as well. So, interesting film for our Father Knows Best month. All right, let's get into it. Ash, character you relate to or identify with the most?
I didn't relate to anyone in this film.
I can totally see that. Mia G.
I just said Nurse Shelley.
That's a good pick.
Because I just felt the way that the scene between her and Carol, when Carol came to see Jimmy and she was like, no, I guess I'll wait till he wakes up. And she's like, you don't want to sit with him? I'm a mama and I have not like I have a soft spot for the little ones, you know? I just think that she was just so warm. And I think that there's so much importance in making kids feel safe to be kids. And I
Yeah.
appreciated that about her character and, you know, her character as a whole.
Yeah, that's a good pick. That's a deep pool. I'm glad you found someone in that. For me, I got Ladder, Bobby Johnson. In the sense that he said he was willing to die to save his son. And that statement alone is where I connect with him the most. Stop, boy. All right. Ash, lines that deserve to be slimed.
Yes, I have one. It's probably the line of the movie.
Okay.
From Bobby Johnson right at the end when he talks to Jimmy and he says, if you hit a man in his face, in time, his wounds will heal. And later on, you can apologize to that man. If you steal his goods, later on you can return those goods or you can repay him equal value. But if you kill, there is no later on. There is no way to repair it with that man. There's no way to make it right with him or his family. His life is gone forever, and you never come back from that. Whew.
Whew. Somebody knew when they wrote that. They knew if this could be. Shout out to Glenn Plummer. Glenn, man. Shout out to Glenn Plummer because he had to bring those words to life. Man, I definitely got that as well. Mia G, lines that deserve to be slimed. What you got?
I have three. I have the line from Nurse Shelley that almost moved me to tears. You hang in there, little black child. Fight for your life, baby. You've got lots to live for. Was very moving to me. I had a line from Ali when he was speaking to Bobby about Jimmy getting shot, and Jimmy, he said, I ain't saying a damn thing. You doing all the saying.
You doing all the saying.
I have a line from Bobby in that last scene too. I'm only to die here today, Ray, for my boy because I love him that much. Do you love him?
Yeah, man. Yeah. I got a line from Ray Ray. We don't control the day. The man controls the day, but we do control the night. A line from Jimmy. That's honky ball. I don't play no honky ball. And then I have the one that Ash has, of course, the last scene. But even in the last scene, there was something else. I spent 10 years of my life in prison for putting in work. That was so good at that moment, bro.
Don't try to play me.
Yeah, don't even do that one. Like it's like I spent 10 years of my life, man. Come on, bro. I did this before. I had my teardrop before you, bro. Like don't play like that.
He was so believable too. His delivery.
Yeah, man. I never told you this, Mia, but I thought Glenn Plummer was related to Darren Henson. You know Darren Henson? I mean, okay, Soul Food.
I'm sure I do, but
you know Soul Food the series?
Mm-hmm.
You know the one that played Lim?
Darren's Dance Grooves?
Yeah, him. Because the acting style was so similar. Like when he gets passionate in scenes, that's why I was like, bro, are they related? Because there was moments that I felt similar to like that, or like, of course, Stump the Yard and all of the many other things he's been a part of. But like, there have no relation, I believe. But yeah, I definitely thought Glenn Plummer was like his dad or something. Ash, things you would change about the movie, or what they didn't get right, in your opinion.
So things I would change. It was just one too many B words for me. I know this is the time, but like every woman was referred to as a B.
Facts.
And it was too much for me. So I didn't like that. And then bringing the baby to the club is crazy work. Just crazy work.
Yeah.
So that's what I had.
Me and G.
Well, I think there were a couple of moments of overacting. I don't know. I feel like they could have given Carol some redeeming qualities. She didn't really have any to me.
Mm.
And I don't know. I don't want to be too nitpicky with this film because I take it for what it is.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Go
Yeah.
ahead. If you got to go for it. Like,
I just there was something about it that didn't quite connect all the way for me, and I
I can
can't
see that.
necessarily put my finger on exactly what it is,
Mm-hmm.
but so I can't say what they did or didn't get right in that sense. It was just maybe just not for me.
Yeah. Okay. I got a few things. In the beginning, when Bobby got out of jail, the officer leaving his post to come down and shake hands with hoodlums and then get sprayed in the face with beer is not believable. Rather, it was 92 or 82 or whatever. I'm sorry. That was like super goofy. Um, Ali and his crew getting to Ali and his crew in prison getting to wear their own garb. That could very well be a thing, but it seemed heavy handed in this movie to me a little bit. Like I mean, I know he sews, so maybe he's sewing his clothing and everybody else's, but I don't see them letting you wear whatever you put on your uniform and your whatever number they gave you. Like I don't know. That might be a thing, maybe in the 80s, 90s. I don't know, but it just seemed like I don't know if that's accurate because y'all definitely had your own drip, like so. Oh dang! I left a quote out. I put it in the wrong section. That was another line I had. Hate is broken by giving, and I give to you and break my own hate cycle. So that was a quote. I put it in the wrong section, but that's from Ali. Genie lamp. Another thing that bothered me, or things I think I would change about the movie. Genie lamp. The pimp and the dealer from Kansas City. His voice wasn't intimidating like at all. It was proper. He's a gangster, smooth. Wasn't it just didn't connect for me. I was like, he it wasn't, nothing about Genie Lamp was believable to me. Like yeah. And then lastly, more Ray Ray. I thought his character was really good, and I feel like y'all put him on the front and the back end of the movie and just left it there. And he should have been. We should have seen him visit the Deuces in prison to make the call to get Bobby up out of there. That would have been a good way to put a middle spot for Ray Ray to say, "Oh, yeah, Ray Ray." Like he could have been like, "Sonny, what's up?" Like it could have been that moment in this movie, even though I know it's much later. Ash, moral of the story in your opinion?
Yeah, and them press-ons that Smackman had, it was killing me.
Oh, they was. He had a
Press-on nails,
press-ons.
them was sending me out the window. But
Oh, that is crazy. A man with the.
it was typical. Like every pimp don't have to have them type of nails. Just like they could have just anyway.
They could have.
But you said who get the stepping, right?
Huh?
You said get the stepping. Who can get the stepping?
Oh yeah. Sorry.
And I have a favorite song too.
Oh, yeah, I did.
Okay. I didn't about to move this out of the notes because I like, bro, unless it's a musical, damn near.
Well, they played "Sexual Healing" by Marvin, so I had to put that down.
Oh, okay, all right, that's good.
Yeah.
Fair. Yeah, but I meant to do that after. But character that can get to stepping, or character you could do without Ash.
I had to go Bear. He was whack to me. He was doing too much threatening with the physical. Like you was stepping to Bobby on some. Like you ain't like I ain't just do 10 years in there for you. You know what I mean? He just was overly like, oh, I'm supposed to be scared of you. So I'm glad when Bobby got to work him a little bit at the end. Like, yeah, bro, sit down. He was still on the ground when we dipped out. Like he just was. The physical was just too much. I'm like, bro, I really will work you for real. But
yeah.
So he was getting on my nerves with that.
Right, Mig G.
I also had Bear. Like I don't know. I feel for one, he didn't do much in the beginning, and then at the ending part, it just irks me. It's like I get his beef with Ray Ray. I get his, Loco not wanting to leave the Deuces because he needed protection. But Bear, I feel like you're just a flunky. I didn't like it. I don't like you. You was doing too much. It was too aggressive there at the end on Ray Ray's behalf. Like you don't know. OG, Bobby, and I don't know. I don't like it.
I almost had Bear, but I ended up just not going with it. It's funny because like I think we've only heard him say 2 words in at least the 2 movies we've seen him in, this and Boys in the Hood. And he just said, or he said, "Little man," and he threw him the football back in Boys in the Hood, but same dude. But I ended up having no one really. It just feels like the streets of LA in the early 80s and 90s to me. I just like, everybody feels like it's the hood. So it feels like a lot of characters. Like people are definitely colorful, no pun intended. Ash, moral of the story in your opinion?
I said redemption is possible, and it's never too late to change, despite the mistakes you've made in the past.
Because if I can change, and you can change, I'm tying all the movies back. That's Rocky. Big G. Moral of the story in your opinion?
I said it's your responsibility to be there to raise your kids. Don't let the streets raise your kids.
Okay. I'm pulling a quote directly from Ali. We're brothers, and it's time for us to start taking care of our kids. Fire line. I didn't even put it in my other section just because I wanted to put it right here. So, and that is our episode, y'all. Man, hopefully y'all enjoyed that, man. If y'all haven't, go watch South Central and then connect back with us and just to see some thoughts. Because if you ain't seen it in a while, you definitely want to see it and then listen to this review. But without further ado, as we always preface, we do not talk about what movies we're going to review next. We are in real time surprised when each one of the hosts on our show tells us what is the next movie they're doing. So it is now on me and G. We switched the rotation, and we will also switch it again going into our next month. So without further ado, me and G, the floor is yours.
Okay. You guys went in 2 completely different directions and left me a little puzzled. And so I was like, you know what? I want to go all the way in the other direction.
Oh, there's another one?
Yeah, I had a drama picked out.
Okay.
And then I had another film picked out. And I said, you know what? I'm gonna take us back to revisit something that we've already touched on a little bit. We're going to go back to 1995, and we're going to go the animation route, and we're going to do a Goofy movie.
Oh, I was wondering when this was coming back. She did go another direction. Wow. How did you get there?
What says father more than Goofy?
Oh, man. This is going to be fun.
Goofy and Max. This is the fatherhood relationship.
Oh, man.
She brought us back. Yes. A Goofy movie. It's good.
The extremely Goofy movie.
Yeah.
His fatherhood was a huge theme, and this is where it started. We see this is a very father-son, fatherhood focused movie, but it's fun.
Mm-hmm.
It's animated. It's one of my favorite movies of all time from my childhood. And, you
definitely blew our mind with that one. And you did find another lane to carve out. That's perfect, actually. I know we're going to have music in this one, some favorite musical selection to pick, because this movie gets there.
I have somebody who I want to see if they'd want to step in to help us out with this one.
Okay. Hey, look, you just let me know, and we'll send them. They'll be able to hang out with us Stoop kids. It's all to the gill. I told y'all always welcome to invite a guest if you feel it's fitting for the episode. So definitely let us know. But all right, y'all. Well, that is our time, man. It is time to get back in. Even though it's summertime, we out of school, we still got to get back to the crib because you still got curfew. No matter what time of year it is. But y'all can reach out to us, childishgrownups3@gmail.com, or reach out to us on Instagram, The Childish Grown Ups Show, no spaces, or Follow us on YouTube, The Childish Grown Up Show. Thank y'all for tuning in. We appreciate y'all. Peace out.